President says his generals have promised to defend the besieged eastern city of Bakhmut.
Plus, World Bank suspends talks over future engagements with Tunisia following President Kais Saied's recent tirade against sub-Saharan migrants.
And Nigeria's Electoral Commission omits the name of the majority leader of the House of Representatives, Al-Hassan Ado-Doguwa, from the list of elected lawmakers over allegations of electoral violence. Details in just a moment.
In our top story this hour, China's leader Xi Jinping has made an unusually direct rebuke of the United States, blaming it for trying to contain, encircle and suppress his country. The speech by China's leader was behind closed doors, but his comments were echoed by China's new foreign minister, Qin Gang, who blamed Washington for the distortion of China-US relations. Xi said Western countries led by the US had implemented policies on China that had brought severe challenges to the country. China's foreign minister also warned that if Washington did not soon hit the brakes, instead of ramping up tensions, this could lead to conflict between China and the US. Qin Gang was speaking on the sidelines of the annual rubber-stamped National People's Congress.
The
United States claims to be competing to win against China rather than seeking conflict. But in fact, the United States' so-called competition is total containment and suppression, a zero-sum game in which you die and I live. The United States' perception and views of China are seriously distorted. They regard China as the primary rival and the most consequential geopolitical challenge. This is like the first button in the shirt being put wrong. And this leads to a complete deviation from rational and healthy policy towards China. If the United States does not hit the brakes but continues to speed down the wrong path, no amount of guardrails can prevent derailing or a crash, and there will surely be conflict and confrontation.
Now, according to Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky, his generals have promised to defend the besieged eastern city of Bakhmut. Ukrainian troops have not decided to pull out of the city, but Russia is inching closer to winning its first victory on the battlefield in more than 6 months. The head of Russia's Wagner mercenary group says his fighters are in Bakhmut and has called for more weapons.
In fact, the matter of Bakhmut became the key one at this staff meeting. I want to be frank about such matters because there are many disinformation reports from those who may not even hear absolutely confidential discussions about the defense, but instead make some claims about the defense. Society needs to understand the essence of our defensive operations. During the staff meeting, I directly asked General Syrskyi, the commander, and Zaluzhny, the commander-in-chief, how they see the further defensive operation in the Bakhmut direction, whether to withdraw or strengthen defense and our position in the city. Both generals responded not to withdraw, but strengthen. The staff unanimously supported this position. There were no other positions. I told the commander-in-chief to find the relevant forces to help our guys in Bakhmut.
Now, across the Atlantic, Canada's Prime Minister has announced a security investigation into alleged Chinese interference in the last 2 federal elections. Justin Trudeau said he would also be appointing an independent rapporteur who will make expert recommendations on combating foreign interference. Mr. Trudeau said it was not a new problem.
In the coming days, we will appoint an eminent Canadian to the position of independent special rapporteur, who will have a wide mandate to make expert recommendations on protecting and enhancing Canadians' faith in our democracy. In the coming weeks, the independent special rapporteur will be responsible for informing the work of NSIRA and NSICOP and any other existing processes like those by Elections Canada, and to identify any gaps in our system. The independent special rapporteur will make public recommendations which could include a formal inquiry or some other independent review process. We have long known, and an independent report confirmed it again last week, that the Chinese government and other regimes like Iran and Russia have attempted to interfere not just in our democracy, but in our country in general, whether it's our institutions, our businesses, our research facilities, or in the daily lives of our citizens. This is not a new problem. But before we came into office, there was no dedicated process to counter foreign interference in our election.
Now, according to the Israeli army, it will open an investigation into soldiers filmed dancing with settlers in the occupied West Bank town of Huwara. 5 Palestinians, including a 2-year-old child, were injured when Israeli settlers stormed the Palestinian town. Surveillance video showed a group of masked settlers throwing rocks at Palestinians in shops and in cars. Huwara has become a flashpoint in recent weeks and is one of several towns surrounded by illegal Israeli